Forget the flowers, forget the expensive dates, forget everything social media says men want. If you asked 1,000 men one question, what do you really want from your woman? Would the answers offend modern society? Has the world become so focused on what women deserve that nobody asks men what they need? So tonight we're turning the tables. Stay tuned for part 3 of what men really want from his woman.
Are you ready for some controversy? Yeah. Are you ready for some fun? Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready for some laughs? Yeah. Let's get unfiltered with Cycle 4081.
Welcome back to part 3 of this episode. Tonight we'll be discussing the last few items of what men really want from their women, including some controversial hot seat questions and the final question of the night. So we have
T-bone.
T-Bone. We got T-Bones here. What are you eating? He eating steak and
Oh, my
eggs?
bad.
So we know what you having for dinner. So we're gonna start it off with belief in his potential as number 9. Do I need to recap? All right. So to recap, what men really want from their women, we went over respect over love, peace, loyalty, and funny enough, they had the biggest issue with peace for some odd reason. They had the biggest issue with that, and then loyalty, appreciation, physical attraction, sexual compatibility, emotional safety, and partnership instead of competition. But out of all of that, that's where we got the most, flack from, But today we're going to go over number 9 of what men really want from their women, and that's belief in his potential. So, and basically many successful men credit someone who believed in them before, success arrived. We see that all the time, whether it be the Oscars or, when the camera's on the football player. Encouragement often becomes fuel, but criticism can become an anchor, right? So question right now is, how much influence does a supportive partner have? How much influence does a supportive partner have? I'm gonna go right to left. I'm gonna go with Marky on this one.
I think a supportive partner, they have I don't know how much influence, but they have the ultimate say so.
Okay.
Because most of the times when as men, we have our S on our chest, we outside talking to our boys or someone who don't really matter, and they say, man, you can't do that. Oh, watch, I'll show you, something like that. But when you're talking to someone who's going to be not only your life partner, but maybe your business partner or just your support system, you need that. That's like an extra spark that helps push you towards, doing what you do.
Okay.
That's like the ultimate goal right there. So I think they have a lot. I almost 50%, I would say.
Okay.
Equal to what you're pushing.
Okay. Dimitri, what do you say?
How much influence does your partner have?
Mm-hmm.
I would
Not
say
just a partner.
A supportive partner. That makes a big difference.
Yes, supportive partner.
supportive partner. A lot, because she's supporting, things that you might not, be able to do on your own, or you might mess up at. So I think they have a lot of influence on that.
Okay. What do you say, Wayne?
It really depends on how much you believe in your partner, how much you love your partner.
Good
If
point.
you don't really have that emotional connection to your partner, it really wouldn't matter. If you're headstrong, you can get through anything. So it really depends on how much you love or how much you believe in your partner.
Okay. I didn't expect that one, but yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. So I do think that a supportive partner has a lot of influence, because one, if they're just the title of them being supportive means that you're actually, doing things. You're actually, meeting your goals. You have all these different objectives that you're trying to do, and that partner is not being an obstacle. So I think that in itself, we're more liable to say, when she's established as a partner, or a helpmeet, we're liable to say, hey, what do you think about this? It's more we than I. So I do agree with that. But, have anybody has been in a situation where they got constant criticism? And do you think that constant criticism destroys ambition?
I haven't been in a situation. Well, I haven't been in a situation where it destroyed my ambition. It made me work more, so I can prove to that person that, you know what, we're not on the same length. And basically, I told you so. So it kind of amped me up to prove it to them. Like, you're supposed to be on my team, and this is how you feel about it. So let me show you that I can do it without you, and then that it would have been beneficial to us both. That's
Okay.
not the reason that I'm doing it, but it was a little extra right there.
So it had the opposite effect. So it didn't
Yes, they
destroy
actually
your
had the
ambition.
opposite. Right. You telling me I can't do it. You don't believe in me. Nor should you believe in me more than I do. But we're together. You see what I'm capable of, and this is what you think of me. I'll show you. It's that mentality.
Right. Okay. Okay. Do you think there's any situation, let's say friends, family, whatever, where you've seen their home life, and you see the woman coming in constantly criticizing them, no peace, no nothing, just dogging them, right?
Yeah,
Where
I got
it
a friend like that now.
now, how did it break down his ambition? You think?
Yeah, it's sort of. Hate to say it, but it kind of it's breaking him down as a man. Really, like he's
Okay.
like whatever he says. She says something different. She says the opposite, or it's like he's almost looking over his shoulder to see if she's gonna say something negative, or do she really believe in him? Or man, I know what's coming after this. It's like I don't know why he's still in the relationship, but
Right.
it's like he's taking a psychological beating. That's
So
basically what it is.
maybe do they have kids?
Yeah, there's one child, and then it's one child together, and I think they have three total. One
Okay.
of them is his, and then the other three he's taking care of like they're his.
Okay. So I could see sometimes maybe if he feels an obligation or even trapped. We talked about
And the
that
kids and the
before.
kids see this too. The
Right.
two older ones
Right.
understand what's going on.
So all right, I'm gonna give this question to Leonard. Go ahead.
Yeah. At this point, she absolutely lost all respect for you. You know what I mean? Like at this point, you definitely have no respect. And when you lose that respect from a woman, it usually never goes back. There
Okay.
has to be some kind of come to Jesus moment for her to even realize the detriment that she's doing.
Right. I agree 100% with what you just said. And I think this going back in my own personal history where I felt I was getting constant criticism, and I was
Yeah.
just, bewildered of, about why. Cause I was working, I was had, 2, 3 jobs. I was making decent money, doing everything for the kids, blah, 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 whatever the reason was. But I expressed that to her. I said, you don't respect me as the husband. And I gave her different reasons. So I do agree with what you said.
Sometimes that's a sign of her trying to compete with you.
Yes.
Sometimes that a woman don't see. We have gender roles, feminine and masculine gender roles. Sometimes some women love to slip into the masculine role. They feel more adequate. They feel more headstrong. Some women want to be self-reliant when they don't have to depend on themselves. You have a companion, but for some reason, some women, they feel the need to prove to themselves or the world that they could do it without the help.
All right. So
Well, Leonard, I understand that. But help me understand this. Me and some of my other friends, we see what he's going through with her. She has nothing going on but him. So I'm trying to figure that out. Like,
Right.
why is she
Right,
that
but that
way?
could be a resentment. She
mhm.
could resent him because she can see him accomplishing things she couldn't accomplish for herself. So that's a form of resentment.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it. So I wish you was here for part 2, because we really had it out when somebody on this panel mentioned they want to be independent, but they don't want to be independent, right? They want the benefits of being independent, but not the things that
There's
come
no
with it.
there's no in between. The game that she's playing is she absolutely want to be in control. She wants the man to do the dirty work and the heavy lifting. But when it comes down to the beauty part of the game, or when it comes down to self gratification, she want to be front line. When it comes down to the wars and the easy work or whatever, she want to jump to the front of the line. What she's saying to you is that she wants you to do the heavy lifting.
Exactly. You know, and that was one of the debates that I've had in past relationships. You know, I don't have a problem taking a particular role. You know, I'm not going to play the submissive role because that's not just me. But I don't have a problem. You know, if the woman says, you'll hear him say, you know, I want a man to lead and this and that, whatever, da da da. When you do it, but a lot of times in their head they think it's you can do it when I want you to do it, when it's convenient for me. That's not how it works.
Right. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. When it's convenient, yeah.
Bingo. So let me ask you something since I have you here. Do you think women should support unrealistic dreams as they say it?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Do you think women should support unrealistic dreams? Now, when I say unrealistic, I mean how they see it.
Yeah, because okay. Look, give you an example. The man who invented a cell phone, there was no cell phone. How unrealistic is that? But he made it a reality.
Right.
So whatever. I mean, if it's positive, if it's within the realm, at least the initial. You want a woman to have the initial reaction of to support you 110%.
Right. Right.
Maybe further down the line, there's some doubts. And then if there's the doubts, are starting to pop up and the direction is being lost, the way it's being lost, then, you reconsider. Sometimes you do have to take a back seat and listen to your woman. Sometimes they, from the outside looking in, they can see things that you can't see. Right. So there are times when you have situations like that as well. But the initial reaction should be 110% support.
Support, right. One of the things that I said, when I've had these conversations, and women say, well, I would love to be the supportive person or be submissive, not subservient, but submissive and obedient, right. All those keywords, right? If I can trust the man. And I said, well, what do you mean trust? Like if they make the right decision. So we got into this thing about right decision. So my position on that is the right decision does not depend on the outcome. It depends right. on how you made that decision. Now I'll give you an example. All right. So payday comes and I go take my check and I go gamble it, at the casino. Right. And I come out with a buttload of money. We balling, right? That's still a bad decision. Right. That's a bad decision. Say as compared to somebody who does some deep research and did the business plan and had all these things, had all his ducks in a row, but it didn't work out. They went bankrupt from it. It's not a bad decision because he did everything that he could to align himself for success. The outcome didn't match that. And a lot of women don't understand that. It's like, don't call somebody a bad decision maker because the outcome is bad. You got to look at what the decision is. So that is an argument in itself.
Right. But the first problem with what you said was the trust issue. Before you can move forward in a relationship, before you can accomplish a goal or anything, there's got to be some form of trust. And the lack of trust, usually when it comes from a woman, it shows a lack of respect.
Yep, I agree. And going back to what you said, if you don't have trust in that person, especially early on, why take those steps? You're just asking for, disappointment. Why go through those steps? Right. So what's the difference between, and this is believing in somebody's potential, what's the difference between honesty and discouragement? And that's coming from a woman to you.
Who was that question for?
That's for you. And I'm going to go down the end.
All right. Say that again. I'm sorry. I didn't get the last part of it.
What's the difference between a woman giving you honesty and a woman giving you discouragement?
Honesty don't come from feelings. Okay. Honesty coming from facts and statistics. When she's giving you discouraging information, usually based on her feelings and what she thinks.
Okay. So they can give you, according to what you're saying, they can give you the same advice, but the difference is where it's originating from.
Right.
Okay. Okay. What do you say about that, Marky? Would you co-sign that?
He said what I was thinking.
Okay.
As if you can prove it, then that would be honesty. That would be the facts, which is honesty. Yeah, he basically said what I was gonna say.
Okay. Dimitri, you go along with that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add another element in there too, in the discouragement part. Fear. I think sometimes
Ooh.
fear
Devil's
factors in that.
advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it could be, and it could be warranted or not, but it's still fear. You fear somebody failing. You don't have that trust in or confidence in them, so you're going to discourage that person from trying to go into the studio and make a hit record or whatever. I fear you're gonna use up all the money and da 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 da. Well, you could be honest and say, well, you know what, babe, you can't rap. You can't rap. So that's a little bit different. There's no fear in that. It's just somebody's being straightforward. But number
A lot of that fear, honestly, most relationships are based on patterns which happen between that develop between the family members, the mother and father that came before the people in the relationship. And if they seen their parents fail, or if they seen their parents struggle, or if they come from poverty, it's very hard to see a dream when you're dumping money into it day in and day out, and you don't see a automatic return.
And I guess that means a lack of patience as well.
Right.
Okay. Who's this?
Like my father said, a real successful business, usually you're dumping money into it or you're breaking even for like 6 years. If you're not willing to dump money or to pursue something for 6 years without seeing a huge profit, then you're not business minded. You're never going to succeed.
Right. And that's again a lack of patience. You want that money quick, and it's not realistic.
Instant gratification.
Right. Right. Who's that on it? Is that Travis?
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute the mic.
Okay. I can't see the thing. It was like, so that was number 9. Number 10, men want authenticity from their woman. So many men say they don't want perfection, as we said in the other parts. They want authenticity. No games, no manipulation, no pretending to be someone else. And let me add this in there, since we don't have any women here today. Even if we do it to you, we still want that back. So we're not talking about fairness, because fairness is not guaranteed, but that's what we want.
Right.
So let me ask you something. This is talking about authenticity. Are dating apps encouraging fake personalities these days?
Oh yeah, everybody's an avatar online. Nobody's living their real life. Everybody have these attributes that they don't even have in real life. Everything's an avatar. Everything is building a character.
And I don't even think they believe themselves, but it's about
No.
showmanship and selling yourself,
Right.
to get whatever. I thought that was a funny thing, because I've been on a lot of dating apps, and we did a podcast episode on dating apps. So I got on every dating app I could, but I didn't want to pay for it, so I went as far as I could without having to pay for it. And I'm looking at, so just recently I was talking to my nephew, and I was like, oh, you know what? I know her. From Baltimore, I know her. Then you realize, you read the profile. It's like, nah, that's not you. That's not you. That ain't you. But I guess when you're on a dating app, and I think Marky said this before, you're giving your best representation of yourself, even if it's a short period of time. So
Right.
now let me get this one to Dimitri.
But there's a difference between the first impression and just outright lying. Your
Right.
avatar is totally different from who you are.
All right, let me tell you this real quick, just because since you mentioned it, right? It was a guy I knew. He was from my hometown, and I didn't know him personally, but I knew him because we was on the same threads and stuff like that. And he was talking this, the pro black stuff and this and that, whatever, and all this militant stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm down with that, da da da, right?
Yeah.
So And I'm just looking at all the conversations he's had, and he said, "Yeah, I'm 6'2". I'm an Army veteran. I'm 6'2". This, and whatever. Right? Okay. So now I have my impression of the guy. Well, I see him in Wawa, right? And he every bit of 5'7".
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Well, I said, I guess the Army does say you could be all you could be, so that's what he was
Right.
doing. But Dimitri, let me ask you something. All right, so this is for everybody, really. Have you ever been on a dating app?
Yeah.
You have, Marky?
Yeah.
Nah, never.
No, never.
I gotta. Everything with me is hands on, man.
Hands
I
on.
gotta
Wayne?
can't control it with my hands most of the time. I don't want nothing to do with it. I gotta meet you in person.
Okay. I'm a technology guy, so I can tell you, I'm not one to be out there. I do appreciate the technology, and I want to see ahead of time what I'm getting into.
And let me straighten this out for anybody who's been up there. I'm not knocking nobody. I've got friends who've been up there. Man, I had some friends when I was young. If y'all met them, you'd be like, oh man, this dude got a lot of money. Where you get all this money from? He driving his brother's car or his friend's car and tricked the girl into thinking something else. And
Oh Lord.
so that discouraged me. I've seen girls do the same thing.
Yeah.
So that discouraged me. I'd rather meet you when I meet you, and not on the app.
Okay. Have you ever been on a dating app?
No,
No, this Wayne. I know you haven't.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, man. No, I'm old school,
You
bro.
old
I'm
school.
hands on.
Okay.
If I don't know you, I don't trust you. If I can't see you, I don't even believe it's you. It could
Okay.
be a man on the other side of that line.
There you go, Lenny.
So now I'm going to
Nah.
say, just by your response, you do believe that the dating apps
I watch
encourage
too
that,
much catfish.
right? Now I ain't gonna lie, I've been catfished. Not that I took it seriously, but
Right.
and I'm gonna say this too. I'm not saying I catfished them because I do put up a false profile because I'm looking. I'm not trying to engage anybody. I'm looking.
Right.
But now, Dimitri, do you think that if you're being on the dating sites, what do you think the percentage of people that you come across end up having a fake personality?
Mm.
A lot of them, because
Majority?
it's just like when you meet somebody, it's the same thing. When you meet somebody and you put on your best Superman,
Mhm.
and then by the middle of that 2 weeks, they see your Hulk. It's the same thing with a dating site. The majority of them put on a false,
Facade.
right, for themselves, and then when you get into it, and then you get to meet up with them, then you start to this ain't it's the same thing with the dating site.
Okay.
I
So
can tell you that from my experience.
I've never actually met anybody from a dating site in person. Never have. So I can't really say that that somebody has not put up a false front or that avatar, as you said. But it does encourage that because you could see it sometimes, especially when you see people that or when the write up don't match the photo, right? So you see that, and like I said,
AI.
so
AI
now it's
pictures.
super hard. It's super hard now, but like I said, I do like technology, and I do like the whole fact that you can kind of separate people from what you don't like in a dating site, but you're not guaranteed that that's what you're getting, so I guess it's a double-edged sword. Now, with that said, do you think people fall in love with the real person or the representative?
Well, it depends on when they fall in love. If they fall in love pretty early, that's the representation, because everybody want to present themselves with the most positive image in the beginning. But it's not until you get around that person, you go through adversity with that person, do you see real character. You know what I mean? When everything is good, everybody can fake it, and till you make it. But when adversity hits, that's when you see the true character.
Okay, and that's my buzzword, adversity.
He should have been on the last one.
Yeah, that's what I say. You don't really know a person. I don't care how long you've known them until you go through them times of adversity. That's when you really know who you have and what you have. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Have you ever fell in love with somebody? Dimitri, you've met somebody online. Have you ever fell in love with somebody from a dating site?
No,
No. Okay. So it never got to that point.
it never got to that point.
Never.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about online?
Online. Yeah, online. You can meet people online. Not necessarily a dating like. All right. So I guess not a dating site, but let's say Facebook or Instagram. I fall in love every week from Instagram.
Oh,
And don't let that the algorithm will get you. You getting that little algorithm and it start coming across your feed.
because they know exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly.
One like, and they can send you everything that every model or whatever that looks like your type. It'll show up under one like.
And I ain't knocking the hustle. Like, hey, go ahead with your algorithm. I approve that. So now,
Right.
but going back to Facebook, right? So I think we're all on Facebook. Maybe not Marky, or Instagram or X, whatever.
Now I do get on Instagram.
Oh, you
but,
do? Okay, you get on
Yeah,
Instagram.
but everything I do on social media is limited. If it ain't
Right.
boxing or comedy or politics,
Okay.
Travis,
they got sports, something like that. But I'm not for seeking women or looking. I really don't believe too much in nothing.
Right.
So most of that stuff is just entertainment for me. So I'm not gonna look for a relationship, even when I was single.
Okay. Valid.
Travis has Facebook and Instagram too. I think.
Okay. I wonder, is he single?
Oh, put him out there.
Yeah.
Is it Travis? Answer the question.
I don't think he's on here.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought he jumped.
Yeah, he jumped on, jumped off. So I think he was a little bit busy. I saw the kid in the background, but okay. Now
We need your fingerprints on Psycho.
like I said, I like technology. I'm not one that goes out. And honestly, when I do go out, I was usually with one or two people. I got a small circle when I go out.
Yeah.
But I think social media and online stuff gives you the opportunity to expand your horizons. And I've had friends, not romantic friends, but I've had friends that I met from online. Even some of the the ladies that I know from Africa, I've known some of them for like I think 10, 15 years. So then them I know they're authentic. 'Cause I've seen them go through the ups and downs, and they haven't changed. You can see the growth or whatever. But I'm confident that I can filter through all that. But I still wouldn't. I don't think I can get to that point without actually having to be in their presence. Now,
Wow.
in this case, I'm gonna get it from to Dimitri also. Do you think honesty is becoming less attractive?
No, if you're gonna ask me, I'm definitely gonna say no.
Okay. So I'm going to say yes. Let me put it in this context. Because when we look at people, we're talking about online, in person, somebody you meet at the mall, Walmart, the cafe, whatever. I think we never really fall in love, or not say, we don't really jump to the authentic person because usually we're getting the inauthentic person. We're getting the woman with the
First impression.
yes, she's nice, she's cordial, she made up, got the makeup on, got everything going for her, right? Because you're not comfortable yet. So I think if we ever met with somebody that you got the raw, honest person, I don't think it would be as attractive to it because that first impression means a lot. Some things you just got to ease people in. You got to ease, we all had women with mouth. I'm pretty sure that, right?
Oh yeah.
They don't start off that way, right?
No.
You
No.
ease into that. And Tasha will tell you. Tasha said, when I asked in the past part 2, I think, or maybe part 1, I asked them to tell us your flaws, right? Her first thing, I got a lot of mouth, right? But when I met her, she did not. That you had to ease into that. You can't chase people off before you even let them know the real you. So yeah, I think honesty is, I don't say becoming less attractive. I think honesty, that initial honesty is less attractive. Lie to me first. I want to see the lies first, and then give me the opportunity to say what I accept and what I don't accept in a person. So
Now, are you when you say that, are you talking about them being who they are, or are you talking about you seeing them? Like which
I'm talking about everything. All right. So for example, not the online part. I'm not going to talk about the online part. But let's say if you go to, let's say a cafe, and I usually, when I meet people, I usually meet them randomly. I never meet them, me going out, after them. It's usually me random. I ran into her at the library, the Walmart, or in the office talking to somebody else, right? So when you do meet somebody, obviously you have to put up that as Marky said, that best version of you, to get that attraction going. Unless my intent is not really, I mean, it's all physical. That's we all went through that too. If it's all physical, we don't care about none of that.
But see, it may vary, bro, because it different strokes with different folks. I've met women that rather be lied to. They like dudes with game, you know what I'm saying? And they're not gonna take you serious, and it's not gonna really go that far. But they like dudes with game. They like that. You know what I mean?
I've heard that. I've heard that, and I'm gonna be the first to tell you, I don't have no game. So you're gonna get the honest me. But I don't necessarily need the honest you. I don't want the full honesty. Ease me into that. So,
Right.
but speaking of that though, why do you think? And we're talking about women, not guys. We're talking about women. Why do you think that people hide their flaws?
Because the truth, okay, in this era, the truth is hated, the lies are loved. People love lies, people hate the truth. Sometimes people are not mature enough to deal with the truth. You know what I'm saying? Not just your truth, but even their own truth. You understand what I'm saying? Then, some people, they want the fantasy. They want the fantasy before the reality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster ride. The roller coaster ride will start off smooth. It'll go up a hill. It'll climb. The next thing you know, you're being thrown down and upside down and everything else. But that's usually how relationships go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it really depends on the integrity of a relationship. Some women and men are looking for long-term, straight-up commitments. Some people just want to be together, for the moment. It's like a hookup.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I guess that's a double-edged sword too. Marky, let me give you this one, and it's kind of based off of that one. Do you think it's good that people hide their flaws?
No, I don't think so. That shows the word he just used. I'm gonna pick a word. I was thinking about something else, but he used the word that's gonna, just basically create my argument for this. Not an argument, but my statement. Integrity. They do it because they have no integrity. You don't want to work on yourself. Why create the lie? Work on yourself. Get to what you're faking to be. Like he said, the excitement. And there's no integrity. That's how I look at it. If it's just all about fun, you can tell the truth. You ain't got to create the lies.
Okay. So,
But if you're telling the lies, I think either you don't want to work on you're lazy to some point. You don't want to work on yourself, or you don't even know what your flaws are. You're so used to doing it, you probably don't even know what they are.
and that's true.
So it may not be a flaw to you.
We had the one young lady on here, maybe an episode or two back, when we asked about flaws, and she said, "I don't have no flaws." That in itself is a flaw.
Was a flaw right
yeah,
there.
that was a flaw.
Right.
So now I can see a good reason to hide your flaw, woman, men, or whatever. And for me, looking outside in, I don't want to see all your flaws, to be honest. I don't want to see it. If you can go a whole lifetime without me knowing your flaws, that's a good thing. That means it hasn't manifested itself, right? If you have an issue with money, and that's a flaw, I'll give you an example, and I never found out, that's because you've worked on it and you're maintaining it, you're managing it. But if I see a whole bunch of flaws and you let me in that window, the honesty is good. You know, you want to know what you're working with and everything, but I don't want to see like if you have a flaw that, like, let's say you're mouthy, right? You got a mouth, as Tasha said. Time and place. I don't want to see that. You know, you can do that with your friends. You can do that with, you know, your family. But when you with me, I don't want to see that flaw. Don't use that flaw. I don't want to see it when we're together. I don't want to see the other little flaws. Go ahead.
That sounds like suppression. And what
Right.
happens in these cases is that they'll suppress it for so long, and then one day it's like a volcano. Boom! It's just gonna erupt. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
It does.
It's never. If they feed it to you in small doses, then you could prepare for it, and you can like kind of tame it, or you can deal with it, build up a tolerance. But if they hide it for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden they just show you, it's gonna hit you like a atomic bomb.
Yeah, Mount Vesuvius.
You know, my grandmama
Yes,
always told me
Mount
if the
Olympus.
peanuts if the peanuts are salty, my grandma always told me if the peanuts are salty, don't eat them. So I mean,
If the peanuts are salty, don't eat them.
yeah. So basically,
Oh, hey
like,
yo.
so basically, you know, if you what you seeing, take it for what it is. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
Don't jump into it unless you know.
Okay. Okay. I don't think anybody, to be honest, myself, other people, I don't think we always give the honest version of us in the beginning anyway. For one, your chances of success goes dramatically down. That's just me. I could be an asshole. I don't want the person I'm trying to, you know, meet let them let them know I'm an asshole, you know. So you're not going to get that whole honest, you know, you're not going to see that flaw from me. I want to hide it,
All right.
right?
But there's a difference between the tendencies and your character.
True. All right. So yeah, well, you can have character flaws, which I think that's the worst thing. The
Right.
character flaws are the worst thing to experience later on after you done, you know, invested some time and, you know, whatever into it. So yeah, I definitely get that part. Yeah. So I see words in here. Don't hide now. Don't hide now. We're talking about we're talking about why do people, and we're talking women, why do women hide their flaws?
Hold
We
on.
need women on
Brian,
here for that, though.
Brian, hold on
Yeah.
1 second.
Women hiding their flaws.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I just got out of class, not hiding my flaws.
So you're saying that you don't hide your flaws?
I don't hide
That
my
is a flaw
flaws.
now, Claire.
Right.
I don't hide my flaws.
Now, Brian. Leonard. You said you said it's a character flaw if they're hiding, or what do you think it is if they're hiding their flaws?
That's definitely a character flaw. That's definitely a
Okay.
character flaw.
Okay,
That's not
but
even
now
a tendency. That's a
okay,
character
now
flaw.
where I get confused at is because I learned this, and this was from a woman, a family member told me this. When I was young, I used to get caught cheating all the time. Like wherever I turn, the other woman is there. So that was me, Mr. Get Caught. And she told me, problem is you stay too long, blah blah blah, and women are creatures of emotion. Men are creatures of habit. This is why you're always getting caught. So, with that being said, women are creatures of emotion. You still think that's a character flaw in a woman if they're hiding their emotions? I mean, they're suppressing something?
That's for you, Leonard.
Yeah.
But no. Okay, that's no problem. That's no problem. To me, I gotta wonder why. And the reason why,
Uh-huh.
9 times out of 10, they had something that they don't want you to see, either to take advantage of you or to lure you. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's a character flaw, my guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hands down.
I just need an understanding of it. That's it.
I'm gonna say I don't think it's a character flaw because the again, like you to get to that first step. Let's put it in baseball terms, right? To get to second base, you gotta get the first base. To get the first base, you gotta get up at the plate, right? And if you are so easily showing your flaws, you'll never get to bat. Nevertheless, get to first base
But
automatically.
Brian, some women or men in a relationship don't deserve that.
That
Imagine you being with a woman who's suppressing and who's hiding. You fall in love with her deeply. Y'all get married, and then boom, and y'all have kids, and then all that shit come out. Then
oh yeah, been there, done that.
imagine that. Do you want that? Like, that's a character
And
flaw.
look, I done had that. So yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want I wouldn't say is a character flaw because that's just how people are. People have different types of character and different character traits. That it is what it is. I think the flaw is when it's a inherent problem, and it's not an inherent problem for everybody else. Like I said, I mentioned the one woman who said her flaw was she had mouth, right? I don't think
Right.
I don't think that's a character flaw. That's just a trait that they have, and sometimes it actually comes in handy. So, it comes in handy sometimes, and sometimes it's not wanted. So it's more or less you have to manage that. But I don't think that's
But
something
look,
the average person would want the right off the rip. I think we got a delay.
let me ask you something. If you got a woman with a character flaw, like she, runs off at the mouth, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. You got a woman that has a character flaw. She like to run off at the mouth. You guys are out one night, and y'all in the street. She run off at the mouth at you. Other men around, they get concerned. Yada yada yada. That brings you unwanted attention. Doesn't that come across as a danger? Isn't that a character flaw in that situation?
Oh, absolutely. So
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think the mouth part is the character flaw. It's the decision making. The time and
I
place
was
thing.
I was gonna ask that. I agree. I don't believe that running off at the mouth is that character flaw. It's how it's you're picking and choosing when and where you need to
Right.
say what's in your mind. Like running off at the mouth doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's just you may be trying to get your point across in a clear way. But then sometimes people do it in a way that can, as he said, draw that extra attention. So it's the time and place and the reason.
But listen, this is why I say this, because everybody in this chat know 99.9% of the men or the women that have that type of mentality, they don't have situational awareness. So if they'll do it behind closed doors, they'll do it any place and any time at the drop of a dime. If they
I
usually
don't
have
agree
that
with
character
that.
flaw,
I think that happens a lot. That what he just said
yeah.
happens a lot. But there's some cases, there's some people that do have that situational awareness and is a time and place. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you. This is a real life situation, right? I was dating someone at the time, and we went to a bowling alley. And I took one of the girls that worked with me. We went there. It was like three of us, and we having a good time to shooting pool. I mean, I said bowling alley. It was a pool hall, and we were shooting pool and everything. So there was some guys that was at the next pool table, and they was flirting with the other girl, the single girl, whatever. And it was funny how things was happening. I guess she was flirting back with them, and they was trying to sell things. I don't remember what they was trying to sell, but they were trying to sell things. And they probably wasn't even playing pool. So it came a point where it didn't bother me because it was her, but the girl that I was with, started running off of her mouth and saying, oh, y'all being irritating. Just, you've seen the stories, right? So I'm like, calm down. It's not that big a deal, blah, blah, blah. Right. So now, just like most guys, especially when you're in a public setting, if you have a woman that jaws at you, obviously you're going to feel compelled to give them back that same energy. Right. So that same energy that was given back to her, now it was disrespectful. Now that puts me in a situation where I got to nip that in the bud. Like, and I had to tell him, like, you being disrespectful, you need to dead that, right? So that didn't go well for them. So now we got in a situation where I'm hearing one guy telling the other guy who was behind me, by the way, not now. There's too many witnesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was strapped. So now in my head, I'm clicking back to, military time. I'm clicking back to every experience I've had when it came to that type of situation. So now I'm like, man, I gotta kill these dudes, you know, over a woman not knowing how to, or let's say not knowing situational awareness, right? But it ended up working out where they got put out, and then I guess they was waiting for me in the parking lot. I heard, because people can't keep stuff to themselves. So I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna go out. Y'all stay here. I'm gonna go out first, because whatever happens gonna happen. I'm gonna do what I need to do. But things worked out for that time. But because there was no situational awareness, for that young lady, guess what could have happened? People could have died. People could have went to prison. So in that case, the character flaw, actually that was a character flaw, but at that time it was the situational awareness that she did not have that caused the problem. So yeah, I can say, what Tasha is saying, I agree with her. Is it some people can or do have that situational awareness, but like you said, there are a lot of times where they don't have that situational awareness, and that's definitely a character flaw. So yeah, I get that. I have experience with that. But I'm gonna move on to that. We already did 10, but I'm gonna move on to the controversial questions, as if these weren't controversial enough. So I'm gonna give everybody a different question, right? Now, based on what that person says, you can actually, comment or, ask questions or whatever based on that one person, what they said, right? So I'm gonna start with Marky on this. Do modern women, oh, scratch that. No, I'm gonna start with Marky. Do modern women know what men actually want?
All right, let me try to adjust your question. Are we talking about what age group are we talking about when you say modern women?
Modern women could be anyone who considers themselves a full adult, 21 through 61. So
The younger ones, I'm going to say the younger ones, no.
Okay. So at what age?
And the the younger ones, no. I say that.
Okay. So what age, from your perspective, do they not know what men actually want?
At this point, I would say 30 on down. I don't think you really know what somebody else wants until you know what you want.
Okay.
So I would say 30 down to whatever dating is. 18 to 30, no.
18 to 30, no.
18 is too low for me. All of it is low for me. Just say 18 to 30, just to give you an answer.
Okay, 18 to 30. Anybody have anything different that they feel that's different?
I would say starting from 35 and up is when women, because they passed the young women, so they more mature. They know exactly, I ain't gonna say exactly, but they know a good amount of what men want or whatever, starting from 35 and up. But when they're in their 20s and stuff, they don't know because they're trying to find their own self. You
Okay.
know what I mean? They're trying to go through their learning cycles and all of that stuff.
Okay. Leonard, what do you say about that one?
Depends, man. If they were raised in a house with a father, mother, what was that relationship like? Because how can you know, or how could you develop the sense? How could that woman develop the sense of how a man should be treated if she's never seen this before firsthand? If her mother just had different men coming to the house, or if her mother never really had a stable spouse, like how does she know how to treat a man? Her mom never taught her.
Okay.
I don't think that's fair.
Wait a minute. You're a woman. I have to ask you the question. So, but
I don't think
I'm
that's
gonna ask you the
fair.
question. I'm gonna ask you the question.
hmm
Do you know what men actually want, and at what age did you think you knew what men want? And then I'm gonna ask that same question
Or
with
how did you,
Tiffany.
or how did you find out? How did you find out?
Okay.
Um, I think I started finding out in my 40s, what men actually wanted, outside of
Damn,
the
that's a little late in life.
superficial things. How came from communication.
Okay.
Um, Also, I grew up in a, I grew up with my mother raising me. Um, my parents were married but separated. And but I also saw some good examples of marriage. Saw lots of examples of marriage. Was exposed to like uncles, and I stayed with my aunt and uncle sometimes on weekends, and I witnessed how my aunt treated him. And of course, they'd bump heads at times, but my uncle never lifted a finger for anything when it came down to um, having to cook. I never saw him in the kitchen. It was a joke. I would tell him, "Never saw you get a glass of water for yourself." Um, but that's what he liked.
Who says that
That's
like
what
it's an issue? Was that an issue?
I'm
Is
not
that an
saying.
issue?
Not for them. For some people, it could be, but that was what worked for them. That
Right.
was
There
how
we
my
okay.
aunt was. My aunt who did not work, that was how she was with him all the way to the end. So
Could it be could it be possible that she loved him that much?
she did. Oh,
Mm.
she loved my
Okay.
uncle a lot, but they bumped heads. Now, don't get me wrong.
So
They definitely had
That's
their
all
thing,
couples.
but
so the
yeah.
question for you is, do you know what men actually want?
Um, I know some things that men want, and again, it came through communication.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
I just wonder, do men really know what they really want?
All right. So you got put on the hot
so
seat because he's going to ask you
let me let
what.
me let me ask let me get in. So what do men want? So what do men want?
Should I regurgitate from the conversation last night?
You can go ahead.
What?
No, don't put me in it.
Let me regurgitate some of this information that y'all gave.
So wait a minute.
What
Wait
was that? Number one
before
being
you
respect.
before you ask that because now
Blah blah blah.
because that's gonna be a big one because I want both you and Tiffany to answer that based on how you feel, right? So I'm gonna tape. I'm gonna table that one because I want to come back to that one because I want to the last thing I want to ask you guys and you can say whatever you want and how you want to say it. All right. And
Okay.
so don't go nowhere with this one.
While you table that, I'm gonna run and grab something to eat,
Okay.
but I'll be listening.
Now for the fellas here, have men's emotion, you could use yourself or what you know of your friends or family, whatever. Have men's emotional needs become socially unacceptable?
Ooh.
Mm.
Whoa.
Uh,
I see what you just did there, Brian. That's devil's advocate. That was a hard one.
Yeah. Dimitri, go ahead and answer that. I'm gonna put you on the hot seat because these are hot seat questions anyway.
You would
Uh,
ask me. Man's social emotional needs because of what you say socially
Yeah,
unacceptable.
yeah, socially unacceptable. Have men's social emotional needs become socially unacceptable? And you could use yours because you don't know what all of men's emotional needs are.
Nowadays age, this modern day age, I would say yeah. I would say I would say that's what the rating of it. I would say yeah, but as far as me, I wanted my emotional needs be
Okay,
socially acceptable. But I would say yeah.
but overall, they are unacceptable today. Okay,
Right.
anybody say no?
Um, I think in some men, I would say half.
Half. Okay.
Once again it goes to the age. I was listening to some. I sit back. I just watch people in relationships. I, I hang around people who are older than I am, has more than what I have, and who are in relationships longer than me. I mean, it's like like a finish line for me, like maybe even a starting point for me to get to and emulate some of this stuff, especially successful people. Now I watched some couple, some younger couple, friends of mine, and the lady told and a family member, the woman told the man that sometimes he don't know if he wants to be the woman in a relationship or the man. Sometimes she's trying to figure it out. And to be honest with you, and me, Demetrius know who I'm talking about. To be honest with you, she was right. The guy is so emotionally, not even broken. He's just emotionally selfish. That what he wants is, I don't know. It's just weird. So I would say the younger people, some of the younger people, yeah, a lot of the younger people,
Okay.
because Leonard said, and like the young lady that was on earlier touched on, the age, who you grew up around, what did you see in your household,
Mm.
what was acceptable, and then all of that, you can see all of that and be around all of that. You don't have to accept it or adhere to it. You can create your own lane or go in another direction, but some of them choose to, like she said, I guess, be the woman in a relationship sometimes.
So I'm going to go on the record by saying it is more socially acceptable today than it was in the past. Men's emotional needs have been
Yep.
accepted by women, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Ah,
Back in the day, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Back in the day, you couldn't cry. There was no reason you can cry. Not at funerals. You might get a pass on a funeral, but any emotional thing, definitely not a movie. You couldn't, if you didn't, display the stereotypical male behavior that society said you should be,
James
then
Evans.
exactly. So today, today, women are more understanding about that. You've heard it in the last part two. I think they were saying, they want, and I joked about it. I said, they want their man to cry. They want their man to show these emotions and stuff like that. And I said, being the typical male, how males think, I said, nobody wants a damn man that's crying all the time. Nobody wants that, right?
they're
That's what I
looking for
said.
Ralph Tresvant.
Right. Right. So as a man, we still have that in our head, but women are way more accepting of that. And funny enough, let me tell you where I first started seeing that. Martin. When Martin in his skits, he would get to the point where he would cry or whatever. I was like, that's when me personally, that's when I started noticing, okay, obviously, even if it was a comedy skit, they still was accepting of it, right? So I'm gonna ask, Tiffany this, if she's still here. Do you think today women accept the emotional needs are more accepted socially today from men?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's a see, if y'all don't know Tiffany, right? So if you ever see or hear her on these things, everything she says is a confident, no wavering, it's never I don't know, it's yes, no, because, right? And that's what she get. Now, I'm gonna take that as a strong statement. So Tasha's not here. Who didn't I ask about that? Did you chime in on that, Wayne?
What was the question?
About have men's emotional needs become socially acceptable today?
No, I haven't chimed in. In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, still no. As far as crying and everything goes, there were men that cried back then. You had a Martin Luther King and a Malcolm X type in almost every household. But nowadays, the only issue is when men are trying to switch gender roles, when they're trying to be gay or whatever, all their emotions accepted. If you're a man, you're expected to basically be a paymaster without feelings. And if you don't say yes to on command, it's something wrong with you.
And a lot of men have that exact same feeling, which you just said. A lot of them. But even with the guys, the alternative lifestyle guys, I think they accept them because they don't see them as like real men, the traditional stereotypical men. They have those female traits. So I think that's more
Right.
why they're more accepted. So let me ask you this: are women asking men to accept standards they wouldn't accept themselves?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So that's a consensus I see. Now, give me one example of okay. Oh, okay. So Tiffany put in there is a whole month dedicated to men's mental health. So that supports what she said that they are more accepting of that, and that's an important fact. I like that. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Is
Let
it
me ask you
one
something.
dedicated for women?
Let me say something real quick. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Does any man online right now on this chat know what month that is?
No.
See,
Hold, hold
see.
on, hold on, Lenny. Um, does the women have do the women have a whole month as well?
Yeah, that's 365 days of the year, and one for the leap year. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe Tiffany can ask: do women have a specific month labeled um, Women's Mental Health Month?
Not that I'm aware of, but
Okay,
June is Men's Mental Health Month.
June
So
is Men's
anybody
Mental.
who
Oh,
doesn't is
uh,
not aware of that, now you know.
Okay,
we share
okay.
with Pride and Black History stuff. Oh, we
Yeah,
share
well,
that
see,
one.
look. We got to share our month with Pride Month. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Yeah, every month has to be shared with something. Get over it. Every month is shared with
That's
something
funny.
else. Get
Okay,
over it.
okay.
The
So
point is that they said they didn't know. So now
right,
you know, and you're still complaining.
I didn't know, and
I'm not
that's
complaining. I really don't need a mental health month.
that's
I
I
need a
do.
couple mental health days, but a whole month is like, what do? We wrap ourselves in a blanket and
Well,
cry? Like,
that's
what do we
not,
do?
and so that is a level of ignorance, right? Because that's not what it's about.
It was
It
a
is
joke.
it
It
is
was actually a joke.
designed it is designed to focus on the fact that men typically in our society are not allowed to or not expected to display emotions. And so the goal of the month is to focus on making sure that the men in society are taking care of their mental health and that we are focused on their mental health as well.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
a good thing. That's a
I
again
wish.
supports her statement.
Yeah.
I think that's
I
something
wish.
that should be
I,
supported year round. It's not just a month
right.
for us. We can
I,
I know men, older
Lord
men
Jesus.
like uncles, I know Jesus and God, uncles and grandfathers and men who would go outside when it rains just to cry because they
yeah.
couldn't should display that in front of their family
Well,
members.
I think it is. I
And
think
it's
it
just
is every. I think it is all year round. But I think that when you have the month, that's what the focus is. They go above and beyond to reach out, and that's what it's about. It's about reaching out. Um,
To clarify the joke for the young lady,
I don't need you to
because
clarify the joke.
no. I didn't ask you to clarify anything for me.
No,
no,
you
So,
said to clarify
like,
the joke for the young lady, and I'm letting you know that
if
I don't need you to clarify your joke.
whether you wanted it or not, I just wanted to clarify for the room, young lady.
Okay, do
okay,
that.
With
That's fine.
respect,
That's fine.
with respect. My joke was, look, they put it in a month. Things happen, 365 days a year.
right.
So that was the basis of my joke for every man in the room that understands where I'm coming from.
But that's not a joke. See, that's the problem. If a white person made that joke about Black History Month, we would have a problem with that. The purpose of
But
the question
it
was
wouldn't
about,
bother me
hold
at
on,
all
I
because
let you
I hear
talk, so
racist.
please don't interrupt
I
me.
lived in
Thank you.
America all my
I
life, and they talk
appreciate
racist
it.
all the time.
All right, go ahead, Tiffany. With you.
Yeah, this will be my last comment, and then I'm signing off. The purpose of
Oh
any
well.
month being dedicated to a specific demographic, whatever it is not because the remainder of the year doesn't matter. It's because there's a recognition that there are underserved communities that require additional attention. And that's the purpose of those months. So, everyone, whether you're a man or a woman, should be aware that June is that month where it is about mental health for men and the people and the men that are around you, whether it's yourself or someone that you know, where there are a ton of resources that are available. There is a lot of free help that is available. There's a lot of mental health counseling that is available. And the goal of it is to make our society more focused on the fact that men do, in fact, have emotions that are often, or in the past anyway, have often been overshadowed or overlooked.
Okay, makes sense. I like it. I'm going to actually look out for that just for general purpose. I want to see what promotions they have or what efforts they have. But that's cool. So
Absolutely. And you should sign up to do some stuff. You can, I mean, like they have people that do the help crisis lines that talk to people when they call in, they're having mental health crisis. So, there's lots of opportunity for everybody to volunteer and to support that community.
yeah, I don't think I would volunteer. I don't think I'm the right person to talk to somebody about that. But I get you. I get you. So going back to everybody said that women are asking men to accept standards they wouldn't accept themselves. Give me an example of that.
Are you asking me? Because I didn't say that.
No, this is for the guys.
Oh, wonderful.
Who's going to be brave enough to give us an example? Because you guys had a consensus. Nobody. Wait, where Marky? Oh, I see Mark. All
Yeah,
right.
man. Repeat. I'm sorry. Repeat that again. I was
Would
partially
are
doing
women
something.
asking men to accept standards that they wouldn't accept themselves?
Um, I said, well, I'm the one that said the younger ones. I had the younger group, and the younger group, yeah, but not the older group.
Okay.
Those that are aware, yeah. And it's just
Okay.
like certain things I see how women. And I was going back. I had in my head when you were talking about the pool hall earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Standards like that.
So,
Men are supposed to be at the forefront of anything, no matter what the situation is. There's no talking anything out.
okay.
Just
So that's
we're
it.
protectors, so protect under any and all situations.
Okay.
Even things I've seen where same situation you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You got into it because the young lady was saying whatever she was saying to the guy, and the guys overdid it and directed everything towards you. Um, I've seen where guys talked it out and realized it wasn't even necessary to go that route, and the women got mad at him. You're supposed to be my protector. You're supposed to be no matter what the circumstance is.
I have seen that. I have seen that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
situations like that. So,
Okay.
and I've also seen it where the guy has done the opposite and tried to be the protector because he was weak minded and listening to what the lady said under the worst conditions. And person came, something ended up happening. Someone lost their life. Well, a lot of lives were changed that night, but someone lost their life. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's normally the younger ones.
So I'm gonna ask these questions because these are hot seat questions. So I want everybody to say yes or no or whatever, and then I'm gonna pick somebody to elaborate based on what you said. So my first one is, do men settle more than women? We understand that one. Do men settle more than women? What do you say?
Is it any more to that question? Settle for
That's it. Settle. Like settle. When you look at somebody or you have somebody, and you think that they're not your caliber.
settle in a relationship. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Who settles
Oh
more,
yeah.
men or women? Go ahead.
Gotta
I
be
say
honest,
men.
and I hate to admit it, but to be 100% honest, women by far settle more than men.
Okay.
By far.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because we can emotionally detach ourselves a lot faster than a woman can. If a woman sees something in you, if you make her feel a certain way, she'll believe it. She'd have to have dead on evidence. It'd have to be the hardest, worst evidence in most cases for her to leave you.
Okay.
So I think women settle far more than men. I gotta be honest about it.
I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna add on to the fact that a lot of times women, we expect women to do things or accept things that we wouldn't accept ourselves. So,
Right.
which affirms that. Okay. Next question: should men prioritize peace over passion?
of course, of
Okay,
Ooh,
course.
of
peace over
course, yeah.
passion. Okay, no,
Yeah,
no. All right, I don't think anybody can disagree with that one. And I don't like this question here. I started to line this one out. Has feminism improved relationships or complicated them? I'm gonna go with Leonard on this one.
Complicated them. Definitely complicated them. Definitely complicated them. Definitely complicated them.
All right, anybody
Definitely
says they
complicated.
have not. All right, now, why do you say they have? Give me an example.
Well, for the most part, when it comes down to gender roles, feminism they take on a stance that basically that the woman is supposed to be taking on some of the attributes of the man. But at the end of the day, if somebody was kicking that door downstairs, that man is supposed to go down there and face that danger, you know. But I can understand the women being more vocal and things of that nature, and speaking up for themselves. But it almost put them on a pedestal where they make them equal in our gender role, and
Okay.
that's the only time I find it a problem.
Okay. All right. Anybody? I like that. I like that response actually. Anybody says otherwise, I want to add on to that. Okay. Now, are men? This is because I'm gonna ask you guys this, and then I'm gonna ask Tasha if she's still here. Are men easier to please than women?
Yeah, I think so.
Dimitri, what do you say?
I agree.
Anybody disagree? All right. Hold on a second. So yeah, who says now, Tasha? Since you're here, I think we all agree as men. We said men are easier to please than women. Do you agree with that? And if not,
No.
why? Okay.
I'm gonna be like Tiffany. No.
Of course, she's gonna say no.
Okay. Why? Why do you think that women
Because
are
I don't
easier?
think y'all really know what y'all want. Y'all say what you want, but I don't think you really know what you want. I don't think you understand like what all it takes for
Okay.
y'all to have what you want.
Okay.
And so on one hand, you say things like, "Oh, I want peace," but you don't do the things that some don't do the things that allow them to have that peace.
Okay.
So it's hard to, please some of you guys.
So wouldn't you say the
But
same thing
but
applies to
hold on,
women?
hold on. But peace has to start from within.
Yeah, within the man. That was that came up last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying
You
let
have
me
to
get
find
this
peace
clear.
within yourself first. Before you can find peace outside of yourself, you have to find peace within first.
So what you're saying
That
is,
was brought up last night. I agree.
but what you're saying here is you're saying that because men don't know what they want, they're not easier to please than a woman, and women do know what they want.
Oh, women definitely know. We know what we want.
Okay.
We tell y'all just don't listen.
Okay. Okay. All right. So
We
Yeah, but wait, but women know what they want and easy to please is two different things because y'all are hard to please.
But that wasn't the
Knowing what you
question.
want, knowing
That
what you
wasn't the
want,
question.
it's very hard to please the men.
But
okay.
that wasn't the question.
Yeah. The question was who was easier. That's fine. And he says men are easier to
It was
please.
about men.
Right. All right.
Yeah, not about women.
Okay. So here's the next one. Is a respectful woman more attractive than a beautiful woman? This is for the fellas.
Oh, by far, for me, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Dimitri, what'd you say?
I'm gonna give you a Paul answer. I'm gonna say no.
No. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say yes. Because a disrespectful woman can make herself look ugly, even physically. Right. In my head, if you have a beautiful woman and you can't stand her attitude, you can't stand she's disrespectful, whatever. To me, I have less value for her. And yes, to me, in my eyes, she's going to look less physically attractive to me. So yeah, I agree. What do you think? What do you say on this one? Wayne, that was for you.
Oh, absolutely. I agree
Okay.
with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But likewise with a man as well,
Mm-hmm.
we don't come across that attractive to women, I'm pretty sure, if we don't know, we don't have self-containment, we don't have coof, we don't, we lack understanding.
I'm going to say less likely on that because just by seeing the women that the guys they go after, and we've seen them. We've seen the dudes that get these nice women, but they just pieces of garbage, whatever.
But
So
Brian, it goes back into what we talked about earlier. We were talking about it being a facade and being online, and
Right.
everything's made up, and it's a lot of money that's involved with that. It's a lot of things material things that's what pulls them in.
yes,
So
that
so
too. That is a
that's
factor. Yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay. Is unconditional love a myth for men? And this is for men. Is it unconditional love a myth? Dimitri.
As far as receiving it or giving it?
Um, I'm gonna say receiving.
Oh no, man! Women give a lot of women give unconditional love.
Yeah.
I would champion women for unconditional love over men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
I'm gonna say now. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. Um, Women do give unconditional love, but they also a lot of them is conditional based on what you provide for them. And I'm not just saying physical, provision or financial provision. Is a lot of things. Even when it comes down to the household, daddy doesn't get unconditional love. Mom gets unconditional love. That's just the way it
Yeah.
works. And I'm not complaining about it, but that's just how it is. All right. So, last question. Well, actually, second to last question. Would more relationships survive if both partners focused equally on each other's needs? That's
Definitely, yes,
definitely
they will.
okay.
Definitely. That's the bread and butter. That's the glue that keep them together.
Yeah.
Everybody's catapulting each other to their goals and common interests. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do to make the other one satisfied. That's reciprocity.
Okay.
That's what the best relationships are best based upon.
I agree. I agree 100%. Now, the caveat to that, because we got to make it controversial, is actually knowing what our needs are and knowing what the other person's needs are, and that's where the problem comes in. But I agree that it would be way more successful if they did focus on those needs. But the key is you have to know what your needs are, and you have to know what your partner's needs are, and that's not as easy as it seems. Okay, so give me a word of the day. That's for you. Give me a word of the day. One word.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Okay. So today's word of the day is reciprocity. And for those who've been following, if you get the words of the day for each month, you have the opportunity to win a prize by sending those words of the day to unfiltered.cycle4081@gmail.com. Okay. So last question. And this is for everybody, even the
Hold on,
woman.
before you ask this question, what are the prizes and when do we receive them? Because I've been sending them in for 2 years and I ain't received nothing. I ain't want to do it on this live, but I've been sending it in and I want my reparations now.
So I'm glad you asked
Dear
because
God.
okay, so
Messy,
the
messy,
prizes
messy, messy.
so the prizes could be anything like household items. Initially, when we started this, it was going to be dumb prizes. That was kind of like the kick. You can get a dumb prize, but I got a lot of donations, so we have some good items to give out, and we also have because we're big on comedy shows. So you may receive a comedy show ticket or two. You might get a household item. You might get anything, or you might get a cash prize depending on where you are. So those are the prizes, and you get them immediately after we find out who the winner is and your location and all that, because you guys send all that to us, your address, telephone number, the whole nine. And again, these are for subscribers because we're subscriber focused. So you guys go to and subscribe. So
yeah, and it was just a joke. Everybody who's listening, I only remember 2 words for the last 3
I ain't gonna
months.
get serious with you, man. I ain't gonna throw my scholarship up in your face. Now.
Okay, all right, put it back on the wall. Put it back on the wall.
I ain't gonna beat you down with my trophies.
All right, so the question of the night.
Fuck all that. I want my gift.
The question of the night: if you can only give your partner one thing consistently, okay, that's the key word. If you can only give your partner one thing consistently, whether it be love, respect, loyalty, peace, appreciation, intimacy, or trust, because those are the things that we wanted, as we talked about in part 1 and part 2. Which one of those would have the biggest impact? Love, respect, loyalty, peace, appreciation, intimacy, or trust? Let's start with Dimitri. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
My biggest thing always been, always will be is loyalty.
Loyalty. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you say, Wing?
Support.
Support.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Support.
all right, support, that would be support's not on there.
Standing by your side, being loyal, being
Love,
there by your side, loving you the right way, everything above. Just
love.
overall, I would put that in support.
Okay. Okay. Marky,
I would say, you said love, loyalty, respect.
love, loyalty, respect, peace, appreciation, trust, and intimacy.
I would say respect because with respect comes loyalty.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say respect.
Okay. I'm going to say the same thing. Oh, wait, actually, this is what we can give them. I'm going to say them, not us. Them, I would give love. I think with us, our primary want or desire is actually respect. So I'm gonna say love for them, but I want to, Tasha, for your last one. I want you to say, if your mate had to give you one thing consistently as a woman, what would you rather have? Love, respect, loyalty, peace, appreciation, intimacy, or trust?
All of the above.
I knew that was going to be your answer because you never fail to disappoint. I knew. Pick
all
one.
of the above.
Pick one.
That is my one.
That ain't, no. Pick one.
All of the above.
Pick one. It's either one or none.
If my mate had to give me one thing,
love, respect, loyalty, peace, appreciation, intimacy, or trust.
So I feel like love encompasses all of it.
Okay. So
I
love.
feel like I feel like somebody that loves me is going to respect me, except for the kids, because you know how the kids can do. But but my mate,
Yes.
should love me, should be loyal to me, I should be able to trust my mate. Because when you say give trust, what does that mean?
You know what that
like
means.
be
Give trust.
trustworthy.
Yeah. Be trustful
like,
to you.
I think that
trustworthy to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that comes with love.
Okay.
You say you love somebody.
So make no mistakes. All of those are separate things, but I do agree with what you said. Love can bring you respect, loyalty, peace, appreciation, intimacy, or trust. Love can bring those, but it's not automatic. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean you respect them. Doesn't mean you're going to give them loyalty. Doesn't mean you're going to give them peace.
Bingo.
It doesn't mean you're going to give them appreciation, intimacy, or trust. Right.
Right. I've seen that.
But it can.
I've seen
it can
people get love and bring that.
Yeah, but it can bring that. It can enhance those things or make the chances of. So okay, as a woman, she says love, and she gave her reasons. Okay, so the healthiest relationships aren't built on one person getting everything they want. I want y'all to hear that again. The healthiest relationships aren't built on one person getting everything they want. They're built on mutual understanding, shared responsibility, and a willingness to meet each other's core needs, as we said. The ideas discussed today reflect perspectives commonly expressed by many men, but they do not represent every man or every relationship, as Wayne said as well. Just as women have diverse priorities, men do too. The better question may not be, what do men really want? It may be, how well do we understand what our partner values most? And are we both willing to invest in meeting each other's needs? Because relationships thrive when both people feel respected, appreciated, desired, supported, and emotionally safe. I'm going to say that again. Because relationships thrive when both people feel respected, appreciated, desired, supported, and emotionally safe. And we'll catch you at the next episode.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Unfiltered with Psycho 4081. Big respect to our guests for keeping it real, and love to every listener rocking with us week after week. This conversation ain't over yet. Stay locked in for the next episode coming soon. Until next time, keep it unfiltered with Psycho 4081.